For 30 years, global production started in exactly one place. China built an industrial machine on a scale dwarfing every other nation. This chart shows global manufacturing output at its peak. China alone controlled nearly 30% of the market. The rest of the globe was left fighting for scraps. They achieved this through a specific formula: a seemingly endless supply of low-cost labor, massive state-funded infrastructure, and a government that aggressively cleared the path for heavy industry. The strategy created total reliance. From simple textiles to the most complex consumer electronics, the global ecosystem tethered itself to these massive assembly floors. But this concentration hides a critical flaw. By routing the majority of production through one geography, the global economy built a massive single point of failure. The cracks started from within. Over the last decade, China's rising standard of living pushed domestic labor costs up, eroding the primary cheap advantage they relied on for decades. Then came the geopolitical tension. Sudden trade wars and massive tariffs introduced the one thing supply chains cannot tolerate: unpredictability. Finally, the pandemic hit. When borders locked down, the cargo stopped moving. The world learned exactly how dangerous it is to depend on a single country for the goods we need to survive. Companies panicked. Boardrooms immediately began scrambling for a secondary hub, a diversification strategy the industry calls China Plus One. As billions of dollars began fleeing the Chinese market, a massive vacuum opened up, and one nation stepped forward to catch that capital. India already had the raw materials required to host the world's factories. They boast a young workforce, immense domestic demand, and political stability. To address their historical lack of manufacturing power, the government deployed an aggressive master plan known as the Production Linked Incentive, or PLI, scheme. This flowchart outlines how the policy works. The government is injecting 20 lakh crore rupees directly into specific sectors, like electronics, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals. If a corporation brings their manufacturing to India, they receive direct cash incentives and tax benefits. Global giants like Samsung and Apple are already shifting their assembly lines to take advantage of these subsidies, driving a spike in domestic production that was previously thought impossible at this speed. This is the physical reality of that capital shift. Pristine, hyper-modern cleanrooms are scaling up across the country to meet the exact standards of the world's most demanding brands. They aren't waiting for corporations to discover their workforce. India is systematically buying its position at the center of the new global trade map. Subsidies and tax breaks mean nothing if a country can't move physical goods from the factory to the port. In manufacturing, time is money. To solve this, India launched the Gati Shakti Master Plan and a series of dedicated freight corridors. They are rebuilding their logistics networks to eliminate domestic bottlenecks. They are pouring concrete at a staggering rate. Multi-level interchanges and sprawling megafactories are slicing hours and sometimes days off internal transit times. This velocity is exactly what high-stakes industries require. Whether it is moving sensitive pharmaceuticals off an automated line or shipping heavy textiles, the new infrastructure is designed for speed. India is re-engineering its physical geography to handle the relentless, hyper-efficient demands of modern global commerce. The central question remains: can India actually step up today and dethrone China as the primary factory of the world? The reality is that China still holds massive advantages. They have deep manufacturing ecosystems built over decades, and their execution speed at massive container terminals remains the global gold standard. Global supply chains are slow-moving behemoths. Severing a 30-year relationship is a process that will take decades, not years. But India has secured something equally valuable: momentum. They have successfully established themselves as the premier destination for any company looking to diversify their risk. To win this rivalry, India doesn't need to cause a total collapse of Chinese manufacturing. They simply need to capture the vast majority of the new capital flowing out of it. Right now, the lines of global trade are physically rewriting themselves. We are watching the capital flow shift away from the old hubs and branch out toward a new center of gravity. Controlling the production of global goods translates directly into geopolitical leverage. It gives a nation the power to dictate terms in international negotiations and influence the policies of every nation that relies on its factories. The competition unfolding over the next 20 years will determine which nations hold the upper hand in the next global hierarchy. By securing the supply chains that the modern world depends on, India is engineering a new center of global power, and the world is watching.